Welcome to Crafty Polyglot, the monthly podcast where language meets creativity. Each month, we sit down with leading voices and innovators in language education, from renowned educators to pioneers shaping the future of multilingual learning. Together, we explore the art, the science, and the passion behind mastering languages, uncovering the strategies and stories that inspire learners and educators around the globe. Whether you're a teacher, a student, or simply a language enthusiast, Crafty Polyglot is your gateway to fresh insights, practical tips, and meaningful conversations that celebrate the vibrant world of languages. Join us on this journey, because in every language, there's a new world to discover.
I'm Dr. Felicia EYBL, board member of Horse Education Group and host of the Crafty Polyglot podcast series. As a bilingual language speaker, parent, teacher, and principal, I have firsthand experience about the advantages of second language teaching and learning. Today, I am happy to welcome my daughter and an immersion parent, Claudia Eybl Carlton, to the Crafty Polyglot. Welcome, Claudia.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you. So, as a second language speaker yourself, or as a bilingual parent, why was enrolling your daughters in the language immersion program important to you?
Exactly for that reason, because I had the benefit and privilege of growing up in a bilingual household with my father speaking German to us and growing up in Germany, going to German schools, and then you speaking almost exclusively English with us in the home to ensure that we also learned English and had the ability to communicate with our American family members. So for that same reason, it was important to me that my children also learn the German language, because we still have an extensive family group in Germany that I want them to be able to communicate with, and, when traveling, to have the ability to communicate with locals.
Okay. So what goals or expectations did you have for the program when you chose it?
My expectation was for my children to become proficient in the language, to be able to communicate clearly, to be able to convey their thoughts, ideas, and feelings in German, and to develop a love of the language, a love of the culture that we couldn't get from direct experience of living in Germany, for them to experience through the cultural exchange programs as well as the different culture nights at the school. And as far as my goals, that's, for them to achieve the certification of language proficiency that is offered by the Goethe Institute in Germany, so that if they choose to pursue university education in Germany, that option is open to them.
So your daughters participated in the exchange program and had two different exchange experiences. Your older daughter traveled to Ludwigsburg near Stuttgart, and your middle daughter traveled to Lage, a small village in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern in northern Germany. How would you describe their experiences?
Oh, they were wonderful. I believe that they have both developed, hopefully, a lifelong friendship with their exchange partner and continue to be in contact with them, communicating with them. I think it was a different experience for them, having traveled to Germany with family before and, to visit family, and to really be immersed in kind of the day-to-day life of a student growing up in Germany, compared to what day-to-day life is like for them here. I think it gave them a great opportunity to explore some areas of Germany that we had not had a chance to travel to as a family. And I believe it also helped them to develop some independence, since they were there with a school group and not with, their parents or grandparents.
And how did you see it impacting their language development?
I think it definitely helped them improve their language skills, because when you are in a school setting where you're learning specific topics or specific phrases to use, right, versus then having to actually use those in a real life setting, I do believe, kind of on one hand solidifies those things in your head, because you're like, oh, right, this is like an actual question I need to answer, or, I'm in a store and I actually need to purchase something, and, learning to ask questions in a real life setting and navigate, different activities in a real life setting, I do think really help them to maybe also make the language more real to them because
Mm-hmm.
they're encountering people who can't just switch to English, right? If
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand something, they really have to learn how to properly communicate what it is they're trying to convey in that target language.
So, how do you see that learning a second language has contributed to their academic growth, social emotional development, and their increased cultural awareness?
Educationally, I do think that it has benefited them in all of the ways that the teachers and all of the advocates of immersion education describe that. I mean, their grades are phenomenal in all of their classes. And I do think it helps them in problem solving because their brains have developed kind of alternative pathways of thinking, approaching situations and approaching schoolwork. And it also, in their social emotional development, I think having a core group of students that they progress through school with, from kindergarten through fifth grade, really help them solidify a lot of those friendships
Mhm.
that, others maybe don't get a chance to experience until middle high school, if not even college. And that has really, I think, provided a core support system, right? Because the parents also get to know each other because you've spent these past, however many years
Mhm.
together with your children in this program. And so having that, wider support and having that, village, if you will, to support them has really, I think, been a positive. Yes. So the way that SAIL is structured, having access to Chinese, Japanese, French, German, and Spanish, I think is just a tremendous resource
Mhm.
for children to gain exposure to lots of different cultures, not just the culture of their target language. So while I love and look forward to, the annual World Market Night where the children don their dirndls and lederhosen and perform German songs that I remember from my childhood and doing the Sankt Martin lantern parade and things like that, they also get direct exposure to, Lunar New Year, to the different French celebrations, to Japanese celebrations. And it, I think, really broadens their horizons
Mhm.
and, probably also stokes in them more questions and the interest in exploring the world more broadly.
So, what advice would you give to parents who are exploring the idea of immersion education for their children?
Do it. If you have the opportunity to enroll your child to sign up for a lottery, just do it because it's just such a nurturing environment as well. Like I already said, these children have been with some of the same classmates since, when they start in kindergarten and then through fifth grade, they get exposed to lots of different cultures. They get exposed to the different languages, even if they're not learning them directly. They are creating these amazing different brain connections, right, that help them in other areas of their life. And I just, I'm so thankful that we have the opportunity to participate in the immersion program at SAIL.
Thank you. And your daughters were also involved in the arts.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about that because that's also an opportunity that SAIL offers.
Absolutely. So my oldest daughter, who is now in high school, she participated in orchestra. She played the violin in the
Mhm.
orchestra and had the opportunity to travel to different competitions with the music department. So they traveled to Orlando to go to Universal Studios for an adjudication, as well as to Atlanta for an adjudication there as well near Six Flags. And she also participated in the school play, which also always, I mean, the teachers who are in charge of the drama and dance and music just do a phenomenal job. And my middle daughter has now taken up the violin and is continuing to be in orchestra. But, aside from that, I mean, they love the dance classes. And they love, the handbell choir that they participated in and just all of the different arts opportunities that the music department has worked really, really hard to build up and, just have created a fantastic program.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us for the Crafty Polyglot. Today, we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.